Okay. Game number three. We uh we lost to Ad Nauseam in round one, and in Dredge in round two. Losing to Dredge is kind of rough. Game three, we just didn't see any of our sideboard cards, and those would have been nice to see. Um, yeah, I don't know. We're in the O2 bracket though, so who knows what the heck we'll be facing? Facing like UR Delver, more Dredge, Death and Taxes. I don't want to play Death and Taxes. I really don't enjoy playing Death and Taxes. It's such a it turns the game into like a zero sum game. So either I am winning or my opponent is just like completely winning. There's no mid ground. And I guess you fight over like who's winning explosively, but somebody's gonna win explosively. I don't know. So this is our first league with Jund. We just finished putting the deck together this weekend. Finally had enough free time and enough nickels to get the goifs. Um, and it was interesting because I had never played with goifs before, and you see very quickly how powerful they are. It's just super cheap, super efficient beat stick, and it blanks a lot of removal in the format because the two premier removal spells in modern are Path and Bolt, and it does not die to Bolt a good chunk of the time. And if you're not playing Path, I think Bolt gets played more than Path. And if you're not playing Path, you are stuck like dealing with this resolved Goif. So yeah, Goif's really good. Hmm. What else have I been pleasantly surprised by? Um, Liliana hasn't been as good as I expected. Actually, no, it's been good. It's just very subtly good. When I used to play a lot of Burn, and when I'd play against Liliana, when you play Burn against Liliana, it readily becomes apparent how amazing that card is. You can't race it, and you can't kill it directly, and so if you let it resolve, it just becomes a big issue. So yeah, John's a good deck. It's a solid tier one. It's always going to be a tier one deck. It just absorbs the best cards in three colors whenever they come out into the format, and it's the kind of deck I want to play. It's a fair Magic deck. I feel like it's the best fair Magic deck in modern. I feel like you have to either be doing something patently unfair, like Infect or Robots, or Burn to a lesser extent, or like Suicide Zoo. Suicide Zoo is an excellent example of trying to do something patently unfair because they are trying to play like a 6/6 on turn two, and then like give it double strike and trample the next turn and kill you with it. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's fun. But or like Nahiri summoning Emrakul. Emrakul is patently unfair to deal with. Summoning Emrakul on turn 6 or 7 is also patently unfair to deal with. So um, that being able to do patently unfair things are what makes the best decks in this format. And Jund doesn't really do anything super duper unfair. There's nothing on the level of like Become Immense, kill you with infect damage, or Teamer Battle Rage, Death Shadow kill you with trample damage. In Jund just it takes all your cards, it kills all your creatures, and then it beats you in the face with the Tarmogoyf. Um, that's the game plan is simple, but it's just so brutally effective at it that it's not that it remains a tier one deck. Um, and you can kind of see that like Tron Tron is like dropping. It's like tier 1.5 right now, especially online because of the increase in you see more aggressive decks online, like Suicide Zoo and like Dredge and like Burn, because those decks are generally cheaper to put together, and also you can like get in more reps with them. So if you want to get better with it quickly, you can just grind games, and it's easier to do that with aggressive decks. But Tron has trouble with aggressive decks. But when it finds a foothold, it does do patently unfair things like exiling two things on cast from with Ulamog or turn three Karn. Turn three Karn is pretty unfair. Turn three 7 mana spell seems pretty unfair. So yeah, that's what I think the problem with Grixis is. Grixis seems like it should be a really good deck. It but it wants to play fair like Jund, but it doesn't do um, it doesn't do as much hand disruption as Jund does. So it's missing that angle of attack. They still play some like Inquisitions and stuff, but they substitute the hand disruption for counter magic, and the counter magic is reactive, where hand disruption is a little bit more like proactive. Like you remove threats before they become an issue instead of responding to threats as they occur. Um, I mean, that's counter magic is usually perceived as better than hand disruption, but um, I don't know. It depends. Hand disruption goes a little bit better with the game plan for Jund, I think, than counter magic does for the game plan for Grixis. Are we? Is my opponent going to join? Is my opponent? Nope. My opponent is not going to join us. So we're just going to keep talking. Thank you, MTGO. Yeah, like the most patently unfair thing Grixis can do is Tasigur, and even that requires like a lot of setup. And if you and can you can run into things like where you're exiling cards you might want in order to get Tasigur into play quickly, and and you run into things where like Tasigur is hyper efficient beater, but it also gets it beats the bolt test, but it does die to path. And so if you're trying to rush it out there and exiling your entire graveyard, which can contain stuff you can use with that synergizes with other things in your deck, like Snapcaster and Lightning Bolt. And if you're exiling stuff like that to get to Tasigur, and then it gets removed immediately, like you have disrupted your entire game plan for something that got instantly removed, and that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. Yeah. I'm surprised more Grixis decks don't go with Delver. Delver seems like a really disruptive card, very aggressive card that gives Grixis another angle of attack. But I've always liked the style of play, like blue red counterburn offers, where you just like play a Delver turn one, and then you flip a counterspell, and you flip it with the counterspell, and then you just burn their face in. All right, we won the die roll. We're gonna play. This is not a bad hand, but it is also not a great one. I think we are going to keep it because we can play Confidant on 2 and then have removal up. So that's fine. Ideally, I would like to have, I'd like this to be like a hand disruption spell or something, but it's not a huge deal. We're going to play this so we can play Pulse on 3 if we need to. Oh, great. Another Ad Nauseam. Okay, well, we're going to Confidant, and then next turn we're going to Thoughtseize him. Doesn't have any black mana yet, which is a good sign. You can't play Ad Nauseam without black mana. Again, the way I think you attack Ad Nauseam is with their mana and with hand disruption. So we're hoping to draw, and now we're in a race. Because they can kill us if they assemble their combo. They can kill us no matter what. So now we're trying to race them. Okay, we hit Cleaves, so we can double Thoughtseize. So we're gonna Thoughtseize number 1, see what they got. So they have Prism, Visions, Shores, Mine, Coast. Obviously we take Ad Nauseam here. I'm going to take the Serum Visions as well. Just leave them with no card draw whatsoever, because again, if they get to us, if they assemble the combo, like, we're just dead. So we're just trying to beat them in the face as quickly as possible at this point. So we took Visions second. So they drew Lotus Bloom, and they played Shores and Prism for 2. Okay, so they have 2 lands in hand. So all they have is mana, because the Lotus Bloom is what's suspended. So all they have is mana right now. So now we are just like in kill 'em mode. We're trying to be very aggressive. We're trying to draw. Aggressive things. We're not trying to draw like Lilianas. We're trying to draw like Tarmogoyfs right now. Why is this guy taking so long to resolve my trigger? I mean, if he wants to quit, I will take the 10 play points. I am down for that. Okay. Okay. So we can play this tapped and Liliana. Well, no, we want to, actually, I think we want to Maelstrom Pulse this. Do we want to Maelstrom Pulse this? I don't. It's tough. I want cards in the graveyard. So he doesn't have any Ad Nauseams. He has Secret Mine. Yeah, we're gonna Maelstrom Pulse this just because I don't know if there's anything else that comes up that I'm gonna want to Maelstrom Pulse. Like, even if there's like a Phyrexian on life or anything, like, that's the only thing he's gonna draw. Okay, so last card in his hand is Gemstone Mines and something we don't know about. Okay. So we could play Liliana or we could swing with Ravine. I think we want to swing with Ravine. Because again, we are in like super duper kill him dead mode. We missed a point of damage with Lavamancer last turn. I hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. So that's 4, 6, 7 damage. Next turn. Okay, he casts another Prism. He still has the Gemstone Mines in hand. Okay. So this is 5, 7. Now we're gonna try and Lavamancer him out and see if he responds with like an Angel's Grace or something. Oh, okay. Wow. That's pretty crazy. You very rarely win game one against Ad Nauseam. So I'm super pumped. Um, Maelstrom Pulse is good because it can destroy like Ad Nauseam, and I think when we played a Ad Nauseam opponent earlier, it can destroy Leyline of the Void. Abrupt Decay is good. Terminates are not good. Um, Duresses are good. Hand Disruption's good. Fulminator Mage is pretty good. Kalidas is kind of slow. Um, Grudge for their mana is good. Again, I think the way you try and compete with this deck as Jund is through the mana base. Um, I'm gonna take out a Culligan's Command because we want them to discard, but the discard's really slow, and they're not going to spend time killing any of our creature cards, and we have Ancient Grudges to destroy the artifacts. And I'd rather have, if I want to destroy artifacts, I'd rather have Ancient Grudge than Culligan's Command. Um, so that's 60 cards. Taking the thoughts using the second visions was pretty big for us, I think. So that's a good lesson to just disrupt their hand as much as we possibly can. I wish his hand was a little bit more aggressive, but I think I will keep it because of the turn one Thoughtseize. And we're up a game, so we can afford. And he's mulling the 6. Lotus Bloom and Temple. Okay. So Thoughtseize. Ad Nause. So I'm taking the Ad Nause for sure. So it's SSG and Slay. So I'm taking Ad Nauseam like 100%, and that's totally worth it. And he had another Temple. Yeah, thought yeah, SSG Temple. Yeah. Okay. Um, Understandably kind of unhappy about that, but I mean, turn one Thoughtseize is like what this deck does, so can't get too unhappy about it. We're just gonna yield because we can't do anything here. And the next turn we're just gonna play. There's the second Temple. Okay. So okay, that's good. That's the Ancient Grudge. So now we're hoping we get. Now we're hoping he plays like a Pentad Prism or something, or even if we can make him use this Lotus Bloom mana when he doesn't want to, that would like also be also a fine use of it. So now the only card we know about in his hand is Simmons Spirit Guide, which is not. If he plays Simeon Spirit Guide like off this Lotus Bloom, like we win, or like if that happens, we're in like a really good position. So I'm not super worried. He's been drawing a bunch of cards though, so he's drawn well. The surprise off these temples probably were very good for him. Okay, very good for him. So in response, I'm gonna blow this up. Okay, he didn't crack it for mana in response, which is good. Scavenging Ooze number 2. And like again, that denies him a ton of mana that otherwise he would have access to. Mana we don't want him to have access to. Oh, okay. Now, okay. Okay, so first, swing for 2. Black, red, red. And now we find Lightning Storm. Hey. So his hand is SSG, SSG, spoils. And we take the Lightning Storm and exile it. Does he even have, okay, so he has Laboratory Maniac, so he can still win with Laboratory Maniac. He can still win with Laboratory Maniac, but that involves a lot more like setup and whatnot. So we're in a pretty good shape right now. So what we really want to do is we really want to draw a an Abrupt Decay, because that means we have an uncounterable answer to Laboratory Maniac. Oh, I screwed up. I should have left green mana open because I know he has Seaman Spirit Guides in his hand, and that's might be what he wanted to discards and can make one of my guys bigger. Okay, he discards the spoils. I guess I could have fetched up a forest. So he doesn't have a spoil in his hand. So him building up mana on this is not ideal. But again, if we manage to just find an Abrupt Decay, we'll be in good shape. Is this Ad Nauseam? Okay. So he draws, what, 2? Okay. Maybe instead of the Liliana, we should have blown up the Phyrexian on life. So he exiled 1. Simeon Spirit Guide, so there's 2, 3 left in his deck, so he can go, boom, Laboratory Maniac. Okay, there's the land. He hasn't played a land this turn. So yeah, he wins. Yeah. Maybe we should have just destroyed this Phyrexian Unlife. And now this is like he plays. Yeah. Search of a forest. And he wins. Abrupt decay? Abrupt decay? Abrupt decay? Nah. That's okay. So that's close. We get to play the Slayer games, and that removed one avenue. But you see why they play two avenues. Can't think of anything I would change. I want to draw a little bit better. What, like a Tarmogoyf would have been better that game. This is only one land. This is rough, but it's got Tarmogoyf. Hmm. Hmm. I think we will get. I think we'll go. We're going first. I think we will get the time to do this. Oh man. Okay. Never mind. Then there was no point to keeping this hand then. I should have been more on the lookout for that possibility. Hmm. Okay, I messed up. He doesn't actually have any colored mana right now, but I still messed up. Yeah, I should have mulliganed. That is pure greed on my part. Yeah, that wasn't very smart. Okay. Was not very smart on my part. Smart on his part. Oh, okay. So 6. Okay. Am I just dead? This is 6 mana. Yeah, we're just dead. Man, that so the not taking a mulligan was a poor decision there, but him having the ley line is also pretty huge. Pretty huge. So yeah, we should have mulliganed. But this is a difficult matchup, I think. I was very surprised we won game one. Fun. Okay. Well, that's 0-3. Not great.